Hello there, I'm Azaria Tagaya, and this is Nightline, the top stories. Zara Khairina's death, investigating officer failed to follow investigation procedures, did not request the post-mortem. Also, 5 senior military officers arrested, suspected of colluding with smuggling syndicate. Good morning. The Attorney General's Chambers has directed that an inquest be conducted into the death of Form 1 student Zara Khairina Mahathir. The decision was made after an examination of the investigation report submitted by the police on Tuesday. The AG's Chambers said the inquest will be held in accordance with provisions under Section 339, subsection 1 of the Criminal Procedure Code. The proceedings are aimed at determining the cause and circumstances of death, including whether any criminal elements were involved. The AG's Chambers said the inquest will be held by a coroner's court in an independent and transparent manner in accordance with the law. Earlier, Zara's remains underwent more than 8 hours of post-mortem examination at Queen Elizabeth Hospital after her body was exhumed over the weekend, following instructions by the AG's Chambers. She was found unconscious after allegedly falling from the 3rd floor of her hostel block on July 16th and was pronounced dead the following day. In another development, Bukit Aman Criminal Investigation Department Director Dato' M. Kumar said an initial investigation by the Federal Police Task Force formed to probe Zara Khairina's death has found evidence of bullying prior to the incident.
Ada keterangan-keterangan yang timbul hasil siasatan task force yang menjurus ke arah buli sebelum kejadian yang menimpa adik Zara ini. Siasatan masih berjalan dan kertas siasatan akan dirujuk dari sudut jenayah ini ke pihak AGC dalam masa terdekat. Selain daripada itu juga, permohonan untuk proses inquest kepada coroner akan dibuat dalam masa terdekat.
Kumar said the post-mortem report confirmed the victim died from severe brain injuries due to a lack of oxygen and blood flow through the brain, consistent with the preliminary cause of death previously diagnosed. So far, 82 witnesses have provided their statements, with some being called back for further questioning. Meanwhile, Kumar also revealed that the investigating officer or IO handling Zara Khairina's case had failed to comply with proper investigation procedures during the initial probe into her death.
Pegawai penyiasat tidak membuat permohonan untuk post-mortem insiden pertama itu. Itu jelas dalam siasatan task force. Dan saya memberi jaminan tindakan tegas akan diambil terhadap pegawai penyiasat dan juga ketua bahagian dia kerana tiada penilaian.
He added that while the victim's mother had requested that no post-mortem be carried out, the IO has the authority to request a procedure if there are any doubts concerning the cause of death. Now, the lawyers for Zara Khairina's family, when contacted, said they would apply to the coroner to be given the opportunity to participate in the inquest process.
Inquest tersebut akan memastikan semua fakta dan bukti dibentangkan, dikemukakan di mahkamah. Dan ia akan memberikan peluang kepada keluarga melalui peguam untuk soal saksi yang terlibat dalam kes ini. Tujuannya satu, untuk mencapai kebenaran dan juga keadilan.
In the meantime, the principal, senior assistant for student affairs and all wardens of SMKA Tun Datu Mustafa have been temporarily reassigned to the Sabah State Education Department pending the outcome of investigations into the Zara Khairina case. The Education Ministry announced the decision following a statement by the police that the Bukit Aman Special Task Force had taken over the probe. The ministry added that it will give its full cooperation to ensure the investigation is carried out thoroughly, carefully and comprehensively. It stressed that the case remains a top priority for the ministry to deliver justice for the family and all parties involved. In a separate case, the authorities have found no evidence of abuse in the death of a Palapes trainee from University Technology Malaysia. Defence Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin said an armed forces investigation involving some 30 witnesses, including instructors and fellow trainees, confirmed that the training adhered to prescribed procedures and that no abuse was reported.
Paramedik tentera yang ada mengesahkan bahawa semua bantuan-bantuan awal diberikan kepada Allahyarham dilakukan mengikut standard operating procedure yang telah ditetapkan. Dan laporan daripada hospital juga mengesahkan bahawa tidak ada apa-apa kesan kecederaan pada jasad.
He said the exact cause of Shamsul Haris Shamsuddin's death will only be known after the hospital completes its full post-mortem report, which may take between 2 to 3 months. Khalid noted that the 22-year-old had only been in the training camp for 1 day before his death on July 28th. Shamsul Haris was scheduled to complete his Palapes training on August 2nd. Meanwhile, the police have recorded statements from 22 witnesses in relation to the case. Johor Police Chief Commissioner Abdul Rahman Arsad said those questioned include the victims' family members and fellow Palapes trainees and coaches. Also interviewed were doctors who attended to the student when he was brought to the hospital, as well as the medical personnel involved in the initial post-mortem.
Kita masih lagi menunggu laporan pedas siasat daripada pihak Hospital Kota Tinggi untuk mengesahkan apakah cause of death ataupun sebab kematian kepada si mati ini.
He said the post-mortem report has yet to be released as several samples are still being analysed by the chemistry department. Johor Police expect the probe to be completed within a month before referring the investigation papers to Bukit Aman and the State Prosecution Department for further action. In Kedah, 4 teenagers were charged on Wednesday in connection with 2 separate bullying incidents in Sungai Petani last month. The cases involved assault and unlawful confinement of fellow students at 2 secondary schools in the district. In the first case, 2 13-year-old girls pleaded not guilty to injuring and confining their classmate in a school toilet on July 14th. They were charged under Section 323, read together with Section 342 of the Penal Code. Bail was set at 2,000 ringgit each, with the case set for mention on September 23rd. The victim, believed to have been attacked out of jealousy, was found in the school toilet by her mother and a school security guard, with her hands and feet bound and her mouth gagged with a handkerchief. In another matter before the same court, 2 15-year-old boys pleaded guilty to voluntarily causing hurt to a 16-year-old male student on July 21st. They were charged under Section 323 of the Penal Code. Bail was set at 1,000 ringgit each. The court did not impose sentencing pending the status of their character reports fixed for October 28th. In the incident, the victim suffered an eye injury, headaches and vomiting after allegedly being assaulted by his peers in the school hall. The Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC has busted a smuggling syndicate allegedly led by several senior officers from the Malaysian Armed Forces MAF. Operating in the south, the group had been smuggling various contraband from a neighbouring country, including drugs, with an estimated street value of 5 million ringgit a month. MACC Chief Commissioner Tan Sri Azam Baki confirmed the arrest of 5 senior officers along with 5 civilians, including an Indonesian national. The officers had been tasked with monitoring and curbing smuggling activities, but are believed to have colluded with the syndicate for the past 5 years by leaking military information to the smugglers. The syndicate was taken down under Op Sohor by the MACC's intelligence division with support from its tactical team. The arrests were carried out around the Klang Valley on Wednesday in a series of raids beginning at 6:30 a.m.
Temuan menarik dalam lokasi serbuan ni setakat ini kita menjumpai 2 sampul putih yang mengandungi serbuk yang disyaki dadah jenis MDMA ataupun ekstasi di premis salah seorang target itu di satu unit kondominium lah. Dan juga nombor 2 bunga ganja dan juga serbuk yang dipercayai dadah juga ditemui di premis yang berlainan, iaitu di unit yang lain.
More than 63,000 ringgit in cash, drugs, weighing equipment, liquor and imitation firearms were seized from the raided premises. 24 bank accounts linked to 12 individuals and one company have also been frozen. Investigations revealed that the 5 officers had allegedly received about 3 million ringgit in bribes. Azam said all suspects will be brought to the Putrajaya Magistrates Court on Thursday for a remand application under Section 117 of the Criminal Procedure Code. He did not dismiss the possibility that there could be further detentions among military personnel in connection with the probe.
Meanwhile, the Defence Ministry, MINDEF and MAF have pledged full cooperation with the MACC following the arrest of several military officers over their alleged involvement in a smuggling syndicate. Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Khalid Nordin said his ministry would also assist the MACC in conducting a detailed investigation.
When contacted, Khalid said MINDEF would not compromise in any case that could threaten national security. He also stressed that no one is above the law and urged the authorities to conduct a thorough investigation and bring those responsible to justice. Similarly, Armed Forces Chief General Tan Sri Muhammad Nizam Jaafar, in a statement on Wednesday, assured that the MAF would neither shield nor compromise with any personnel involved. He emphasized that a thorough probe will be conducted and that firm disciplinary measures, as well as legal action, will follow if they are found guilty.
The Prime Minister has ordered a transparent and prompt investigation into the attack on the son of former Economy Minister Datuk Sri Rafizi Ramli. Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim said he had contacted Home Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail to ensure the probe is carried out immediately.
In a social media post, Anwar described the assault on Rafizi's son as a malicious and treacherous act and called it a deeply regrettable incident. He also expressed his praise for the well-being of the Pandan Member of Parliament and his family. Meanwhile, Saifuddin has assured that the probe into the attack will be fair and free from any influence based on a person's status or background. He stressed that public safety remains the top priority and that there will be no compromise on any form of violence or threats. Earlier, Selangor Police Chief Datuk Shazli Kaha said police are searching for 2 men suspected to be involved in the assault, which occurred at around 2 p.m. on Wednesday at the parking lot of a shopping mall in Putrajaya. It is believed that one of the suspects approached the child and jabbed the 12-year-old with a syringe before fleeing on a motorcycle. According to Rafizi, his son was taken to the University Putra Malaysia Hospital for treatment and is in stable condition. A police report has also been lodged. Rafizi believes the attack was planned in advance and intended to deter him from speaking out on certain issues.
The Mass Rapid Transit MRT Tiga mega project is expected to be included in the 2026 budget, which will be tabled in October. According to CGS International, the project's cost is now estimated at 45 billion ringgit, down from 68 billion ringgit in 2018. The research firm also did not rule out the possibility of private sector participation in financing, in line with the statement on the MRT Corporation's website that the project is expected to involve private sector funding and non-government sources of payment. However, a number of investors expect that the project may not be implemented due to several rounds of starts and delays. As such, its revival would serve as an additional sentiment booster. Thailand's central bank lowered its policy rate by a quarter point on Wednesday, its 4th cut in 10 months, to support a sluggish economy grappling with falling prices, U.S. tariffs and weaker tourism. The Monetary Policy Committee voted unanimously to cut the one-day repurchase rate by 25 basis points to 1.50%, the lowest level in more than 2 years. Despite the cut, the bank warned that growth will slow down in the second half of the year as trade tensions and regional competition weigh on small businesses and consumption. The baht dipped 0.1%, while Thai stocks were little changed. This was the last meeting for Governor Setaput Sutiwat Narueput before Vitai Ratana Kon takes over on October 1st. The next policy review is scheduled for October 8th.
5-year plan to drive growth, cut deficits, and build a Madani economy. We break down the 13th Malaysia Plan, the nation's blueprint for inclusive, sustainable development. Zahir Kelvin Ong Abdullah speaks with non-resident senior fellow at the Malaysian Institute of Economic Research MIER, Datuk K. Yogasbaran. Only on Money Matters this Saturday at 5 p.m. on TV3 and stream on Tonton.
Federal court rejects AG's appeal over Najib's house arrest. This and more after this breather.
Top 5 Carta Muzik 40 minggu ini.
Shibu, Melgistic. Christoph, santai je. Mocha, diva sebenar. Winter, si nakal menggoda. Evian, so classy. Omi, paling macho. Goyen, hero sejati. Juni, she's the queen. 8 meow na list, 1 runway. Siapa akan dinobatkan Super Meowder nombor 1 negara? Cat Fashion Week. Ahad 17 Ogos 9 malam di TV3. Meow menyala, gaya membara.
Unlocking the future of business.
From industry evolutions to policy changes, we go beyond the headline.
Deep insights, sharp analysis.
Understanding the forces driving tomorrow's economy.
Key financial insights that drive decisions.
This is Money Matters, every Saturday, 5 p.m.
Only on TV3 and stream now on Tonton.
Masuk hutan, selam lautan dan tinjau wildlife beraksi dalam Arabian Seas. Africa's Hunters musim pertama. Chasing the Rains. Africa's Hunters musim kedua. Alien Abyss. Layan Animal Documentary di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Nightline continues. The federal court has dismissed the Attorney General's Chamber's appeal to set aside Datuk Sri Najib Razak's judicial review action over a royal addendum allowing him to be placed under house arrest. The unanimous decision was made by a 3-member bench led by the Chief Judge of Malaya, Tan Sri Hasnah Muhammad Hashim. The ruling paves the way for the former Prime Minister to proceed with his challenge in the Kuala Lumpur High Court.
In its ruling, the Apex Court said the existence of the Royal Addendum Order was previously acknowledged following concessions by the AG in earlier hearings. However, the concession on its existence does not translate into its automatic admissibility as evidence. The bench, which also comprised Federal Court judges Datuk Azaria Muhammad Yusof and Datuk Hanifah Farikolwa, stressed that the alleged order must still meet the legal rules and criteria for admission as new evidence, and its validity would only be determined at the substantive hearing of Najib's judicial review. The court then set August 18th for case management before a new High Court judge. On January 6th, the Court of Appeal allowed Najib to initiate judicial review proceedings to determine the existence of an addendum allegedly issued by the former Yang di-Pertuan Agong. The former Pekan Member of Parliament claimed that the royal addendum permits him to serve the remainder of his prison sentence under house arrest. Najib is currently serving a 6-year sentence in Kajang prison for misappropriating 42 million ringgit from SRC International Sendirian Berhad.
A total of 6,144 teenage pregnancies were recorded in Malaysia between 2023 and March 2025. This is largely attributed to limited access to comprehensive reproductive health education, leaving many teenagers unaware of how to prevent unplanned pregnancies.
Deputy Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Sri Noraini Ahmad said 2,737 cases were reported in 2023, 2,752 in 2024 and another 655 in the first quarter of this year.
Negeri yang mencatatkan jumlah tertinggi pada kedua-dua tahun tersebut adalah Sarawak, diikuti Sabah dan Pahang. Sementara itu, data awalan bagi tempoh Januari hingga Mac 2025 merekodkan sebanyak 655 kes remaja hamil di bawah usia 18 tahun.
Noraini said a United Nations Population Fund report found that comprehensive reproductive health education could cut teenage pregnancies by 49%, equivalent to preventing about 1,800 live births over 5 years. She added that other factors such as peer pressure, media influence and lack of job opportunities have also contributed to the rise in cases.
An unemployed man was charged in the Kuala Krai Magistrates Court with the murder of his father in Dabong, Kelantan last week. No plea was recorded from 39-year-old Narosman Osman after the charge was read to him. He's accused of murdering 74-year-old Osman Juso at a house in Kampung Kuala Gris on August 6. The accused, who was unrepresented, was ordered to undergo mental health assessment at Hospital Bahagia in Tanjung Rambutan. The case is set for mention on September 10th. In the incident, the victim was allegedly beaten to death by his son, who was believed to be under the influence of drugs. The suspect, who had just been released from prison last month, reportedly struck his father with a blunt object during a heated argument. Typhoon Podul hits Taiwan. The details when Nightline returns.
Perhatian Kota London, anda diserang oleh alien. Tenang, Ejen M dan Ejen H dah sampai. Walaupun blur sikit.
Hey, look at you. What do we call you, Sport?
Sport is not what you called me. She say yes?
Men in Black International, 16 Ogos, Sabtu 10 malam di TV3 Blockbuster dan stream juga melalui tonton.
Saya kena cari seseorang untuk ke parti tu. Dah lama tak nampak awak, Cik Yu.
Dah beberapa kali dah jadi.
Dari tadi awak asyik pandang saya je.
Saya nak awak hadir satu temu juga sebagai mak Anya.
Selamat datang ke rumah Anya. Tak boleh dimaafkan. Jangan lari.
Inilah misi Spy X Family, kini dalam versi bahasa Melayu. Setiap Ahad 11 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui tonton.
Selamat datang ke pentas penuh gaya dan kecomelan. Miau menyala, gaya membara. Miau.
Saya rasa baju memang full mark lah, saya rasa.
Kalau Syiha suka sangat tadi waktu dia tukar kostum tu. Love.
Sebab dia selesa dengan songkok.
Saksikan keleta lincah finalis si bulus dalam Cat Fashion Week 17 Ogos, Ahad jam 9 malam.
Masuk hutan, selam lautan dan tinjau wildlife beraksi dalam Arabian Seas. Africa's Hunters musim pertama. Chasing the Rains. Africa's Hunters musim kedua. Alien Abyss. Layan Animal Documentary di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui tonton.
On to the foreign front. The United Nations warned Israel that it has serious concerns about reports of sexual violence by its armed and security forces. In a report to the UN Security Council on conflict-related sexual violence, Secretary-General Antonio Guterres put Israel on notice that it could be listed next year among parties credibly suspected of committed or being responsible for patterns of rape or other forms of sexual violence. The warning on Tuesday was issued due to significant concerns about patterns of sexual violence consistently documented by the UN, including genital violence, prolonged forced nudity and degrading strip searches intended to humiliate and interrogate. This follows Israeli attacks across Gaza in the past 24 hours that have killed at least 123 Palestinians, including 21 aid seekers. Typhoon Podul struck Taiwan south on Wednesday with winds as powerful as 191 kilometers per hour, leaving one person missing and forcing thousands others to evacuate. According to the Central Weather Administration, the typhoon made landfall in the southeastern city of Taitung, crossed the island's southern tip and entered the Taiwan Strait about 5 hours later. 9 cities and counties announced the suspension of work in school, including the southern metropolises of Kaohsiung and Tainan. Iran. Earlier, over 5,500 people were evacuated ahead of the typhoon, and all domestic and international flights have been cancelled. The storm is expected to next make landfall on China's southern coast late on Wednesday or early Thursday, affecting Fujian and Guangdong provinces. The wife of South Korea's jailed former President Yoon Suk-yeol has been arrested over a raft of charges, including stock manipulation and bribery. Former First Lady Kim Kyun-hee denied all charges during a 4-hour court hearing in Seoul on Tuesday. However, the court issued a detention warrant, citing concerns she may destroy evidence. Prosecutors allege that 52-year-old Kim earned over $577,940 through a stock price rigging scheme involving Deutsche Motors, a BMW dealer in South Korea. She also reportedly accepted 2 Chanel bags and a diamond necklace as bribes from the Unification Church in exchange for business favors. With the arrest, South Korea now has a former president and first lady both behind bars for the first time in the nation's history. On to sports, football and the Super League. 3 matches lit up Wednesday night. Sabah FC struck in the dying minutes to hold Kuala Lumpur City FC to a 1-1 draw, while PDRM FC shared the spoils with Terengganu FC, finishing 2-2. And at the Hang Jebat Stadium, Malacca FC marked their return to the top flight with a hard-fought 1-1 draw against Penang FC. The hosts were denied in the first half, and it was Penang who broke the deadlock in the 28th minute with Dylan Wenzel-Hall's rifling home from inside the box. Malacca drew level in the 69th as Juan Douglas rose above the defence to power in a header from a corner. They pressed hard for a late winner, but the match ended 1-1, a result that rekindles football fever in the historic city after years without top-tier action. Turning to golf now, Thailand displayed their immense strength and depth they possess in the women's category after sweeping all 5 qualifying slots at the Maybank Championship ASEAN qualifiers on Wednesday.
17-year-old Krit Chanya Kaupatanaskul led the field with a 2-day total of 7 under 137 at the Kuala Lumpur Golf and Country Club. Fellow amateurs Achiraya Sriwong and Namo Luang Nitikul followed in second and third, while Cholcheva Wonglas and Kanbuna Bodi secured the remaining 2 places. It was heartbreak for Malaysia's Ng Jin Juen and Genevieve Ling, who missed out by just 1 shot, finishing joint 6th at 3 over 147. The top 5 now qualify for the $3 million Maybank Championship, the richest LPGA Tour event in Asia. The no-cut format guarantees each player at least $5,400 when the tournament tees off in October. with apartment buildings lining the Mediterranean shoreline. The beaches were places where children would swim and play. Now, powerful images tell the story of how drastically life has changed for Palestinians due to the atrocities committed by the Zionist regime. Visuals of Gaza City, then and now, conclude Nightline this time around. You've been with me, Azaria Tagaya, for the past half hour. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.